Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from wherever you're watching this video. In today's video, I just want to address the type of entitlement that some white people have towards blacks. You cannot force black people to do things that they don't want. Let that sink at the back of your mind. Black people have all the power they have to make the decision that they have as long as it doesn't infringe on any other person's right. Now, James Saylor, who a lot of white Texans were trying to, endorse him, and they wanted to force Jasmine Crockett to, endorse him. But the truth is, black people doesn't subscribe to James Saylor. And the truth is, we saw an entitlement towards black people because now we started seeing white people forcefully trying to make black people to, endorse this white person. And it doesn't just head into that. You all know this content creator, somebody Hulk. I don't want to mention names, but at the end of the day, all this is for educational purposes because it falls into the realm of everything that I've always been trying to say about white entitlement. So since black people refused to endorse this white person, this person went ahead and started, going to black creators that talk about racism and everything. And somehow we helped this content creator, and he started borrowing his money back and forth, all those things. It's just crazy. But my point is, you cannot force black people to do to you what they don't want. Black people have the right. They have the consent. They know what they want. This is not that time that you just wake up in the morning and decide. And I'm glad that as time goes by, the truth gets out to be seen and everyone knows the truth. So let's watch the video. I'm going to be back, brothers and sisters.
You know, Hawk, for the longest time, black people and the majority of the white people that follow me have made reference to how problematic you can be as it pertains to the black community. I'll admit I've always enjoyed your videos because I find that you bring a calm logic to certain conversations that is much needed. I'll also admit that I have never been one to prop up white creators because I have seen far too many times that no matter how calm they are, no matter how logical they are, no matter how sincere the words that are coming out of their mouth may seem to be, 99% of the time, they all at some point come out of a bag, be it a performative one or a racist one. Hawk, your recent video on Jasmine Crockett is very much tone deaf. There's a logical side to that video that I understand, but it was tone deaf. One of my mutuals, well-read black girl, another fed up black woman, because we are all fed up. And you yourself have acknowledged that you understand that black women are fed up. She made a video telling you how she felt. There's a myriad of responses that you could have come up with, Hawk. And yet you chose to leave this comment on her page. Pause to read. It's giving performative. It's giving conditional activism. I went through the exact same thing, but I didn't beg. This was tasteless and it was classless. And it is laden with white privilege. And it is the exact reason why so many black people will never trust any of you. Leave this comment on her page. Pause to read.
Oh, don't mind me. Don't mind me. I told you, not you, sis, because you know I love you. Not well-read black girl, because I love her. Did I not? Did I fucking not say it? Did I not? I could swear I said it. Now everybody's being introduced to the motherfucker I've known for 3 years. And it's right there. Come on. Told y'all. But I was the problem. Remember? Narcissistic bully. The Villains Guild is just his little kiss-ass club. Nostra Villainous strikes again. I said it. I fucking said it. I'm so glad everybody's now becoming hip to what I've always been saying about this motherfucker. I made a whole, go to the YouTube channel, GCPR, whole big long, hour-long ass expose. I'm villaining. I'm doing villainism in I fucking told y'all.
It's about 11:40 a.m. on Tuesday, June 23rd. In this video, I am apologizing for some things that I said Saturday night in a couple of videos that I put up. For context, I had read some news that Jasmine Crockett in the state of Texas was not going to be campaigning in support of or on behalf of or with James Tallarico for the U.S. Senate seat. And I got angry at that news. I was angry and my ego was kicking in, and I'm sure my privilege was kicking in, and I did not regulate my emotional state at all before I hopped on TikTok and hit the record button. And that is not to excuse anything that I said about her. That's my responsibility to take care of that before I record a video. And I criticized her greatly in my comments, and my comments caused harm. And my comments caused harm to Black Americans and to Black voters in Texas, the Black community, and Black people on TikTok, many of whom I'm privileged to be mutuals with. And regardless of my intent, I didn't intend to cause harm to all the people that I just listed. But, you know, another thing that I've learned on this app over the last 5 years is the difference between intent and impact. And the impact of what I said and the way in which I said it completely outweighed my intent, and the impact is what is important. And so I posted a couple of videos Saturday night on this subject, and it was very clear to me by Sunday, early on Sunday, that I had done something wrong. And what I did at that point was I needed to take a breath. I needed to calm down. I needed to engage my humility and my empathy. And I needed to just shut up and listen. And again, as I said, I'm fortunate for years, to have been mutuals with a lot of Black creators on TikTok, people who I've learned a tremendous amount from, people who I've learned more than I ever learned in school about actual American history. And obviously, I am never going to have a full understanding of what it is like to be a Black person in the United States. And so I watched a lot of videos from a lot of creators, a lot of my mutuals like Halaku and Controversial Blonde, Maroon 5, and my mutual Danny, who was kind enough to remind me of a lot of history and provide me with a lot of perspective. But in the moment when I was recording those videos, I mean, again, it was a combination of anger and ego and privilege and probably arrogance in me thinking that I am right in approaching these circumstances from like a team sports perspective, and Democrats support Democrats, and that's what should happen. And, you know, I was making demands essentially in those couple of videos. I was making demands on Jasmine Crockett, which obviously I have absolutely no right to do. And so I apologize. I apologize for the things that I said and the way that I said them. I was probably pretty condescending in my comments, and again, along with the impact, the things that I said were disrespectful and dismissive of Black people and Black voters in this country. And I apologize very, very much for that. I am very sorry. And it was just, in that moment, I just felt that what I was saying was correct, I guess, is how I would say it. And in that headspace, whether it was conscious or not, I mean, I didn't make or leave any room at all to consider other people, any other considerations, any other opinions, any other perspectives, any other experiences, which are obviously different than mine. But in watching the videos that I did from Black creators on Sunday and Monday, you know, some of the things that I did learn and some of the things that landed pretty hard with me and some of the things that I was not conscious of or considering or allowing as far as a perspective goes. I heard so many creators talking about the Democratic Party and saying you want our labor but not our leadership, speaking of Black voters. And, you know, stop demanding that Jasmine Crockett do a job that you, meaning white voters, wouldn't give her. And white voters are responsible for where we are right now with Donald Trump's second term. Majorities of white men and white women have voted for Donald Trump for 3 elections in a row. The only demographic groups that Donald Trump did not expand his voting percentages in the 2024 election was Black women, 92% of whom voted for Kamala Harris. And I also heard a lot of people say, you know, this was your guys' second chance, and you blew it. Meaning white voters, and not voting for Kamala Harris in 2024 in majorities, and in this Texas primary, a majority voting for James Tallarico over Jasmine Crockett. And I'm sorry, I made some notes. I'm not scripting this, but there were some things that I did want to mention, some lessons that I had learned. And I heard several creators say, stop demanding that a Black woman do a job that you wouldn't give her, and demand that she do that for a white man. And I heard a lot of creators say that throughout that whole primary process, there were white people who were saying that Jasmine Crockett was unelectable, and other things about her that were negative. And then why is it now that her voice is so powerful and so valuable after you said those things about her during the primaries? And that landed pretty hard with me. And again, I am very, very sorry for the things that I said and the way that I said them. I've been trying to just listen and learn for 2 days. And other comments that I heard, people saying, you know, that James Tallarico has not earned the Black vote in Texas, and somehow that's Jasmine Crockett's fault, and that is something for her to fix. And I also want to apologize that I made these comments and that I made them in the way that I did during Juneteenth weekend. That was incredibly insensitive of me. And again, it was dismissive and it was disrespectful of me. And I make no excuse or justification for that. And also another comment that I heard that I thought was very perspective shifting. It's like, why are people like me making these demands of Jasmine Crockett to assist or provide free labor for James Tallarico instead of us criticizing James Tallarico and demanding that he run a better campaign himself? And that one landed pretty hard with me as well. But sorry, I'm a little nervous and I'm trying to speak clearly and calmly, but I apologize for what I said and for the way that I said it. I don't make any justification or qualification or minimization for what I said and the way that I said it and the impact that it had on the Black community. I don't ever want my words or my content to have that kind of an impact on the Black community. And I am very, very sorry for all of this. I apologize.
Of course he did. Of course he blocked you. I do not believe what you say because I see what you do. Of course he blocked you. And he blocked you because the drunk pigeon is not interested in accountability for his actions. He's not sorry for inciting a racially charged mob of white moderates against me. He's not sorry for doing it to any other content creator either. He's not sorry that he made one hit video after another hit video on me. He's not sorry that he mocked me. He thought it was funny that I got attacked by white supremacists. He's not sorry that he pulled that tacky ass shit demanding I return a $500 donation. He wanted all of these white moderates to see how giving his white savior ass is. It's something they can connect on. They think they need to save us. He is not sorry for the harm that he causes. He's only sorry when the harm he causes doesn't play out in his favor. He's not sorry for the things he said about Black Texas voters, calling us unserious. He's not sorry for the things that he said about Jasmine Crockett. He's not sorry. He's a white supremacist. And this is how they operate. And again, Black people are going to forgive him. And he's never apologized, truly, for the harm he's caused. I say, flood his comments with a reminder that it wasn't Jasmine Crockett that he incited that mob against. It was me. And he still has yet to apologize to me or any of his other victims. And now that we're all talking, yeah, you dirty fucking bastard.
Yeah. They have the unmitigated gall to put out a post saying they retract their endorsement, but at the same time, they want her to go out on the campaign trail for James Tallarico, the one that they said was unelectable, the one that they said was too polarizing. But the situation, we really recognize the situation for what it is. He said it. James Tallarico is not running a good campaign. He's not running a good campaign. It ain't looking good for James Tallarico. And so they want to harass and bully the Black woman who has the support of her base, which is Black people. They want her to rise up and hand over the base to James Tallarico. Even if Jasmine Crockett went out and campaigned for James Tallarico today, too much has happened. It still won't automatically win over black voters for James Tallarico. Now, after the people over on Threads have been dragging that man all weekend, he's now come out and said this. We owe Rep. Jasmine Crockett and our followers an apology for the way we handled our criticism. Our concern was party unity and defeating Ken Paxton. They thought that attacking Jasmine Crockett would lead to party unity. Okay. Our concern was party unity in defeating Ken Paxton, but our language went too far and sounded punitive towards Rep. Crockett personally. We did not give enough weight to how racial and gender dynamics shape the way Black women leaders are criticized, especially when they are being pressured to immediately unify after a difficult primary. Difficult primary on whose part? It was these white leftists, these racist white Democrats that made the primary difficult. They made it ugly. It was nasty. And I pinpointed to when Taylor Lorenz and Keith Edwards jumped on board. I don't know if they were paid by a PAC or I don't know. But I know they weren't a part of the primary initially. They were not. One day, bam, they jumped in and they immediately jumped in attacking Jasmine Crockett. She is too polarizing. She's unelectable. We don't need the Black vote. We need to go after Republicans and MAGA, and James Tallarico can do that. That's what they did. They basically said, ignore Black voters. We don't need them. We need the Latinos, we need the MAGAs, and we need the Republicans who are not happy with Donald Trump. Go after them. And now that they recognize that they aren't going to be able to sway those voters, and Black voters were like, okay, bet you don't need us? Fine, we won't vote for James Tallarico. And now that they realize that that's not working for them, the campaign isn't going very good, now their strategy is to harass and bully Jasmine Crockett, to go on the campaign trail with James Tallarico, hoping that it would bring Black voters on board. It's not going to work. Y'all have done and said too much up until this point. He finishes off his apology with, we still believe Democrats need to come together to defeat Paxton, but we should have made that point without threatening to oppose Rep. Crockett's future. We retract that framing. Our focus should be defeating authoritarian politics, not escalating internal fights. And that's exactly what I am saying. But yet, these people, that person, Hawk, they continue to not focus on Ken Paxton, but want to call out Jasmine Crockett with lies. And all I'm saying is that that is not going to work. It's not going to work at all. It's just going to continue to turn Black voters away from James Tallarico. And it's going to take James Tallarico to step up to the plate, acknowledge all of the harm that has been done before a dent can be made in bringing back Black Texas voters. And that's on period.
A prominent activist went online to attack a Black woman politician the weekend of Juneteenth because she wasn't doing enough in his eyes as a service role to a white man. Am I processing that right? I have to say, watching this entire thing unfold with Carlos and American opposition and his blatant attack on Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, it's not surprising, but it is one of the most frustrating things I've seen in the activism space in a while. And to be honest, this really isn't about endorsements. It's not about James Tallarico. What it is entitlement, and it's entitlement to Black women's labor. So what happened is pretty simple. Jasmine Crockett endorsed Tallarico after his win as the nominee. And for most people, that in and of itself is the support that's expected, and that's enough. But apparently for Carlos with American opposition, that wasn't nearly enough, and he wanted to see a whole lot more. Instead of just taking Jasmine Crockett's endorsement of Tallarico as the support, Carlos decided he was going to go online to his Threads account with over 100,000 followers, publicly attack Jasmine Crockett, withdraw his endorsement. He even went so far as to say that she should be blocked from holding office again, and he was going to make sure that she doesn't. What? So it never occurred that demanding labor like it's owed from a sitting member of Congress is inappropriate. It didn't occur to you that this Black woman who had already offered her support is now being told that her support doesn't count because it doesn't look in the way that you want it to look? It never occurred that that wasn't okay. What I think we're actually talking about, though, is this expectation that Black women are always supposed to be available to organize, available to mobilize, available to advocate, available to lend some sort of legitimacy to everybody else's campaigns and projects. But the moment a Black woman decides for herself how she spends her time, her energy, her political capital, suddenly everybody wants to act like they are personally wronged. And for the record, I have spent some time in organizing spaces with Carlos. Twice to be exact. And from what I experienced, this take honestly isn't too surprising. Instead of respecting a Black woman who had already offered her support and made her choice clear, he decided that wasn't enough and publicly shamed her. And you know, this dynamic is something that we've seen before, and it's starting to become a pattern. This is the same exact way people treated VP Harris after the presidential election. So many questions about where's Kamala? What is she doing? Why isn't she saying anything? Why isn't she doing more? The assumption underneath all of those questions for both of these women is that their actual role is to serve other people's campaigns. And that's not it. Why is it that we want Black women's energy and efforts, but not their leadership? Also not lost on me is the ugliness of this timing. This is Juneteenth weekend, when we are supposed to be celebrating the liberation of Black people, the political power of Black people. On the weekend of Juneteenth, you decided to demand free labor from a Black woman. And if she didn't do what you wanted her to do, you were going to effectively punish her for it. I'm sorry, was slavery abolished or not? See, I think this is about way more than an endorsement. I think if we're looking at the pattern and if we're looking at the history of things, this is about who gets to decide how a Black woman uses the power that she curated for herself.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Things can really get ugly sometimes. Because when you see the person behind the mask, you really get to know who they are. Somebody doesn't need to tell you twice who they are. When they tell you for the first time, believe that, because that's who they are and that's what they are. So, I mean, I really don't know. The man came out and he apologized. I watched his video, of course, because I find some of his commentaries really, really relevant and things that I agree with. Somebody might ask, should we crucify him for this mistake that he did? This is a difficult one because it's a yes. Why am I saying it's a yes? First, the audience that watches his videos, he knows very well. Majority of Black people watches his video. Then he goes ahead and says what he says. Goes ahead to the comment section of a Black creator and says that I donated to you $500, return it back to me. When this creator was laid off, being an ass, he donated $500. Thanks to him for doing that. But what's the purpose of now going back and you don't owe anyone anything? You apologized. It's upon Black people to decide whether they're going to stick with what you say or whether they're going to believe in you, right? Black people are done forgiving. This is just that time that everything just happens and Black people gets to see the truth. And 2026 was the year of things getting exposed, people getting to see the reality, everyone getting to see the truth and every side of the story. So while he came out and apologized, Black people said no. We also have white people, Black people that said, we've forgiven you and everything, which is definitely okay. Because different people perceive things differently. At the end of the day, I don't want to say that all Black people hasn't forgiven him for whatever he said and how he tried to drag that Black creator. I really don't know what you'll think about this video. I just want to know, your opinion in regards to this, because I really find it so important. I cannot just decide for you. At the end of the day, as we say, Black people have the rights to choose what they think is right and what they think is wrong. Nobody is entitled to a black person. This is not those times of Jim Crow that you will force black people to endorse the person that you want, right? Yet you refuse to choose the black person. So Jasmine Crockett said, no, we are not doing this. We are not endorsing this. Somebody said that, and another one bites the dust. They will always reveal their true selves. We got. We have no friends, all foes. Yeah, it's true that black people got no friend. Remember when Dr. Cloud Anderson said that black people, you have no friends. He didn't lie. And I usually tell you, majority of people that will come to these places to tell you that, you know, we are allies, we are friends, there's always something that they want from you. Definitely. Right. Now when things are getting unmasked, you can definitely see the truth. And the truth that is getting out there. So brothers and sisters, I really don't know what you all think about this video. But please, let me know what you all think about this. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Ejiduk Stories. But until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.